Peace everyone. Hi, it's Tracy from Downward Dog Rising, and tonight's workout, I'm going to title it Hip Help. So if you've driven too far and your hips are tight, or if you've sat too long and your hips are tight, or if you've gone running and cycling and you were in a rush and you didn't stretch after, then your hips are too tight, this workout's for you. So if you keep pushing your body and you don't take the time to stretch, you're gonna feel tight. And then if you feel tight, and if you do it on more than one occasion, what happens, then you start to feel stiff. And then when you get stiff, it gets quite uncomfortable. So this session's for you. So join me, and we're going to incorporate yoga, and we're also going to incorporate some Pilates principles to help those hips feel not so tight and uncomfortable. So then join me and let's get started. And if you do have a Pilates circle, it's called the Pilates Ring Magic Circle. If you have one, please grab it. If you don't, well then part of this, you can use a yoga mat or you could use a rubber band. So you would put the rubber band around your knees and you would push outward. And then if you have a ring, you would walk your feet through it. I'm going to show you right now. You walk your feet through the ring, and then you bring your feet to the mat. The handles of the ring are going to be right above the knees. And then for some of you, might be like, well, she's below the knee. I'm talking, I guess, anatomical reference from the center line. Like the most distal would be the feet. The most proximal, the knees are proximal to my center, and my feet are distal to my center. So whenever I'll say something like above the knee, I'm talking about proximal to my center. And if you've never had an anatomy class, you're going to automatically think she's talking about below the knee. And I'm talking about, I guess, close to my center of my body. So then if you bring your feet down to the mat, and they're going to be hip width apart, maybe you have one of those stretchy bands and it's wrapped around your legs and you just tied it, or maybe it's the kind you don't have to tie. It's not the big long band, it's just already in a circle, like a big rubber band. You walk your feet through it. Now once you're on the mat, you just align head away from tailbone, so you're in neutral, your entire spine is long on mat. You would just take a deep inhale, and then you would just slowly start to press your legs sideways against the ring. I can already feel the side of the hips engage. And there's actually like pain in this one. So you're gonna inhale, then exhale, press legs away from one another, and then release. Inhale, abdominals tighten in, press legs away from one another, and then release. Every time you press your legs away from each other, you tighten your abdominals in. Release. You might feel tailbone, sacrum back here widening into the mat. 8, press away, release. 7, tighten core to low back. And then 6, engage these muscles, sides of thighs. 5, we want to get those hip abductors, press outward. 4 more. 3 more, you're going to press out. Hold. 2 more times, you're going to press out. Feet just slid on the mat. And 1 more time, press out. Excellent. Okay, so you just did 10 of those, or you have a rubber band around your thighs and you're pushing out. Next, tighten your core to your back. Elongate your spine into the mat. Chest is open, palms, back of arms press into mat. I want you to bridge, press legs against the ring. You're integrating the front of the ribs together so the low back doesn't arch, tailbone long, and then you come back to the mat. And you're going to keep on resisting by pressing your legs against the ring. Integrate those ribs, tailbone long, weight across shoulder blade shelf, come back in. And you're trying to bring your hips simultaneously down to the mat. So, trying to keep your hips straight under the shoulders, lengthen, press out against the ring, stretch tailbone long, weight across shoulder blade shelf. Tighten in, lower hips to mat. Relax the ring for a second, lift back up, and 7, and stretch, press into the ring or into the band, come back down, and 6, tighten the core, feel those ribs integrate, low back long, come back in, and 5, and press, come back in, and 4, feel sides of thighs engaged, chest is open, and 3, scoop your core tight, tailbone long. 2 more times, reach and stretch. Chest is open, 1 more. Reach and stretch. Okay, now hold it here. Press out, relax. Press out, tighten core to spine, relax. Keep your core strong, tailbone long. Press out, relax. Weight through all 4 corners of feet. Press out, relax. And 6, 5, chest open, tailbone long, 4, and 3, 2, last one. Excellent, lower straight to mat. We're gonna take our legs out of the ring or take the rubber band off your legs. Okay, next we're gonna, now, if you don't have a ring, you don't have a rubber band, but you do have a yoga block or you do have a ball, now you can join us. Take your yoga block or your ball, place it between your knees, like that, and then you squeeze it, and then release. You tighten the core to your spine, you squeeze the ball, you squeeze the yoga block, and then you release. And then you just squeeze your ball or your block, and then release. And then I'm using a ring, so I'm just gonna keep on going with it. So if you have a ring, you don't wanna just smash it between your knee bones, that hurts. Angle it up and towards your inner thigh slightly, so it's at like an angle. And then it goes into the fleshy part, not just on the bone of the knee, go above the bone. Squeeze, tighten the core to your back, spine long, release. Squeeze, make sure your shoulders and hips are in alignment. Sometimes we can do funky things and have our hips go one way, our shoulders go the other way. And 8, tighten the core to your back, chest open. 7, squeeze your circle. And 6, remember not to arch. 5, you're not letting that low back lift. And 4, feel those inner thighs. 3 more, scooping in. 2 more. And last one, squeeze. It doesn't have to be a death grip either. I don't know, I'm squeezing too hard. I was making noise when I squeeze. You don't have to squeeze that hard, actually. It's better if you don't. You'll end up breaking your ring eventually. You're gonna stretch the tailbone long, scoop the core in tight, chest open. Now squeeze your circle, and then lower pelvis to mat. Feel those glutes, feel those inner thighs. Lift up, stretch the tailbone long, lower back to mat. 8 more, exhale, scoop your core tight, chest open. 7, press into all 4 corners of your feet. And 6, I had hip pain and it's already gone. My hip was killing me earlier. And 5, I did a beach run barefoot today. 4, and I did not stretch afterwards. 3, so I had hip pain. 2 more, squeeze your circle, and last one, exhale. Now hold it here and squeeze the ring, or the ball, or the block. 8, little pulse. 7, tighten core. 6, chest open. 5, weight across shoulder blades. 4, tighten core to spine. 3, stretch hips, stretch tailbone long. 2, last one, and then bring hips straight to mat. Awesome. So now you can take out your circle. You can lay it by your side. All right. Now chances are the back of the pelvis feels a little more open, or tailbone, sacrum feel like they're a little wider onto the mat because of the squeezing of those inner thighs together. So now that came from Pilates. Now I'm going to bring something from yoga. We're going to cactus our arms against the mat. We're going to open our shoulders or chest wide, and I'm going to modify a spinal twist from yoga. So what I want you to do, you're going to take your left ankle. Ow, it's still tender inside the joint. You're going to take that left ankle over the right knee, and then this knee is the one that's going to go down towards the floor. So you're going to feel how chest is open wide. And then you're going to slowly keep both shoulders down. You're going to start to swivel. Maybe if you wanted to limit your rotation of your spine, you would put a block under the knee. Do what's right, do what's comfortable on your body. And then you're just going to hang out here and breathe. So then we're twisting our spine. If you're not supposed to twist your spine and you know that, you could do this small little rotation, not rotation, just sway your knees sideways, keep tailbone firm on mat, and this should stretch opposite side of spine without actually twisting you off the floor, off the mat. So just hang out here, breathe. You might even feel the front of this hip stretching. Inhale, exhale, relax the shoulders down and back, chest is open. Inhale, exhale. Maybe your head looks the other way to deepen the stretch. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel ribs expand, breathing in, breathing out. When you look the other way, you'll get a deeper stretch in your back and your hips. Inhale, it's neurological. Exhale, breathing in, breathing out. One more time. Inhale. Maybe your head feels better center. That's fine too. Exhale. And one more time. Deep inhale. Exhale. Gently release. Wonderful. Come back to the center. Uncross that ankle. And then let's do the other ankle. Crisscross this other ankle over. Maybe you'll take your block where your other knee was going to go. And then cactus your arms again. Open shoulders, chest. And then you slowly keep both of those shoulders down and back. And you're going to swivel this way. And just see how you feel. You're going to get a slight stretch through the front of this hip. Go to where you could keep both shoulders down. Your spine is comfortable. And just stay here and breathe for a few counts. Breathing in. Breathing out. So this is more of a mild spinal twist. Inhale. Exhale. Feel chest open. You're going to inhale. Exhale. Soften into the stretch. You may have to come up higher if there's any discomfort in your low back. Inhale. Chest is open. Exhale. Feel width across chest, shoulders, spine is long. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale, exhale. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, exhale. Soften. 2 more times. Get those ribs to open up. Exhale, let the air out. And gently return. You could even turn head, get the hips, get the back, get the neck, everything to stretch a little deeper. Inhale, exhale. 2 more times, breathing in. For a slight variation, if you want to go a little deeper into the hips, into the spine. Exhale 1 more time, breathing in, breathing out. Slowly return back to the center. And then I'm going to introduce from Pilates or pre-Pilates, something called pelvic clocks. So we want to move our pelvis into different planes of motion. Think of 12 o'clock, the face of a clock is your navel. 6 o'clock, the face of your clock is your pubic bone. Neutral spine is in both landmarks are in the same plane. That's neutral spine. Everything's lined up. One isn't higher than the other. That's your neutral spine. Now, I want you to tighten the abdominal wall, pulling in and lengthening, like it's pulling into the length of your spine. And then I want you to do a tilt. I'm going to call it, you can see how my hip bones roll back. My hip bones go lower than my pubic bone. So I'm in a posteriorly tilted position. And then I'm going to roll my hips forward on an inhale, relaxing my abdominal wall. And then my hip bones are higher than my pubic bone, and I'm in an anterior pelvic tilt. So I scoop in, I elongate, I get the low back to drop against the mat, get those paraspinal muscles on the opposite side, and then I inhale, relax abdominal tone, let my hip bones roll higher than pubic bone. So I'm going to 12 o'clock navel, tightening the core, releasing the core as I roll into 6 o'clock pubic bone. So we're going to go back and forth for 4. Scoop in, relax the tone, roll forward, and 3. If anything ever hurt, of course you would stop, you wouldn't continue. If anything hurt your spine. And 2, exhale, feel the length in the low back. Oh, I just had an adjustment. One more time. That's why we're doing this, to get slight little minute adjustments as you're moving your pelvis through different planes. Come into neutral now. It's halfway in between these 2 pelvic tilts. Okay, everything is in the same plane. The 2 hip bones, anterior, superior, iliac spines, the pubic symphysis, everything's in the same plane of alignment. So what do I want you to do now? Your 2 hip bones, 3 o'clock on the face of a clock, 9 o'clock on the face of a clock. Think of pelvis as being 2 halves straight down the middle. I'm going to keep 3 o'clock half down on the mat, and then I'm going to lift 9 o'clock half straight up off the mat without hiking my hip bone into my rib cage. So I need to have a gap. Sometimes I'll stick my hand on my hip bone, and then as my hand is on my hip bone, my thumb will go to the bottom of the rib cage, and I'll kind of like keep a soft tissue space there. I won't let the hip rise into the thumb. And then I lift the 9 o'clock hip bone up as the 3 o'clock stays down. Then I reach into my core, into my obliques. I pull the hip down, and then I lift the hip up. Half the pelvis is always on mat, the other half is lifting and lowering. And you gotta concentrate. It's mental work. It's exhausting because your mind has to go into your body, and you gotta make sure you keep a space between the rib and the hip. You may get an adjustment in here too. It might click back in, rib out of hip, come back to mat, rib out of hip, straight up, straight down. That's the challenge. You might feel a space on the lower left side of your spine. If your 9 o'clock hip is going up, that's your left hip. Actually, 9 o'clock would be your right hip facing you. So, left hip if you're facing up, 4, up, lower down, 3, straight up, straight down. See if you could keep the alignment. 2, think of a marble rolling across pelvis. Last one. Plant the hips down, rest for a second. Your hips are straight, you're back in your neutral. Maybe do 2 more, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Last one, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and move my hands out of the way so you could see. Now find neutral again, same plane. Now the left hip is going to stay put. 9 o'clock hip stays put. 3 o'clock hip is going to lift up. Maybe put your thumb at the bottom of the rib cage. Maybe take your fingers to where your hip bone is. Keep the soft tissue space open. Now pick up 3 o'clock hip. My mind doesn't want to move. You might find things out. So the 3 o'clock hip goes up, and then the 3 o'clock hip comes down. It goes up, and it comes down. It's hard to control this side. Up, keep the space open between the rib and the hip. Up, back down. Up, space between rib and hip, come back down. It's hard to keep my other hip stable and still when I lift this right one up. Go up, tighten the core to your spine, lower the hip down, keep a straight line, making sure not to hike up the hip. 4, straight up, straight down. 3, keep the space, try to keep the pelvis stable. 2 more, tighten the core to your back. Whew. Last one says work. And then carefully lower down. Now hug both knees to chest. Now just let that low back settle into the mat. And inhale. And then exhale. Let that back settle into the mat. You inhale. And then you exhale. Oof. One more time. Take a deep inhale. And a deep exhale. Excellent. I'm going to turn you on your side. We're going to work the hips. Then we're going to turn back over onto our back and do a hip stretch, a hip opener, a happy baby. So we're going to turn to our side now. And then once you're on your side, if there's any hip pain in the bottom hip, you could put a little pillow or pad under it so your bone doesn't grind into the mat. You don't want your bones grinding. And then you could also think of your top hip coming a little more forward to get the pressure off the bottom hip. See if that helps as well. And maybe there's no pain in your hip or bone, so no need to do anything, so you're good. Your knees are bent in line with your hips. Your knees and your ankles are stacked. Think of length from top of head to tailbone. So you don't want to feel like you're scrunching your rib cage or anything. You want to feel like you're just getting maximal length so those bottom ribs separate into the mat. And take a moment. I want you to breathe into the side of your ribs that are facing down to the mat. I want you to inhale as if you can press those ribs into the mat. And then exhale. 2 more times. Inhale, get that spine to lengthen. And then exhale. 1 more time, get your ribs to fully expand. Create length, exhale. All right. Now, stay in this position. Top leg lifts. Remember, it's not the ankle moving. This could happen. You don't even realize it. Keep the ankle straight under the knee. We're working from our hip to our knee, not knee to ankle. It just follows. So you're going to lower. You're going to feel a straight line. You're scooping your core, tailbone long. Keep neutral spine, and then you just circle around. Inhale, exhale, stabilize hips. 9. Inhale, exhale, reach. 8. Inhale, exhale, reach. 7. Inhale, exhale, 6. Tighten core to spine. 5. Think of those 2 hip bones coming straight across and together. 4 for more stability. Transversus abdominis. And 3. Breathe in, breathe out. Stabilize hips. 2. Last one. Reverse. Come up, around, and back. Inhale, exhale. 9. Tighten core to spine. 8. Ribs wrap, obliques. 7. And 6. 5. And 4. 3. 2 more. Last one. Excellent. Awesome. Let your leg just come out front. Release your hip for a moment. All the way down. All right, let's get into your inner thigh. So this top leg goes behind the bottom. take your bottom leg out straight. Now, try not to let the hips wobble. Scoop into your center. Keep chest open. And then do a really small circle. Use your deep abdominals. Pulling in, lengthening into the spine. 8. Inhale, exhale. 7, 6, 5. Reach this leg long. 4. Notice I'm not just doing ankle rotations. I'm circling from top of thigh. 3. You can even feel this muscle here right in there. It's engaged. 2. Last one. Reverse. Come the other way. Breathe in, breathe out. 10, 9, 8. Really tighten into your center. 7. Breathe in, breathe out. 6 and 5, 4. Control. 3. 2 more. Last one. Excellent. Release. Good. Now you're just going to press into your hand. Elevate. Now we're just going to bring our legs to the other side of our body. And now let's repeat. So you're going to create the length in your spine. You're going to make sure your hip bone doesn't grind into the mat or hurt. If it does, you'll put a towel or a pillow or a little cushion or something under your bottom hip. And then you could also take top hip slightly forward to make sure you get the pressure off the bottom hip. Next, what I would like for you to do, really breathe into this bottom rib cage, like one long breathing. Ron Fletcher in the Pilates world was big on one lung breathing. Inhale, it's where I'm thinking of where I first heard it. You inhale, your ribs expand. Feel the bottom ribs expand. Feel that length coming into the spine. You inhale, and then you exhale. If you have some scoliosis, you'll get a rib hump. I have a rib hump from scoliosis through the spine. Like that can happen. Breathing in. Feel those ribs expand. Exhale. One more time. Deep inhale. Ribs expand. Feel spine stretch long into that. Exhale. You're opening up the sideline. Exhale. All right. Shoulders stay open, down and back. Your knees are bent. Your ankles are stacked. Now, without moving your hips or your pelvis, you're going to lift the top leg. Remember, we're not doing ankle rotations. Ankle rotations are this when we, on purpose, mindfully, we rotate our ankle. This exercise has nothing to do with our ankle. It's from your hip to your knee. You lift up, breathe in, start to circle the leg around without pulling your pelvis out of alignment. So you're going to inhale, exhale, and just your arm could be under your head like that. It could be straight. See what's comfortable. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel side of hip and glute. Inhale, exhale. Side of hip and glute. Inhale, exhale. 7. Keep scooping your core in tight. 6, 5. Inhale, exhale. Squeeze side of hip and glute. 4, 3. Hips are stable. 2 more. Squeeze side of hip and thigh. And last one. Reverse it. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Squeeze the side of your hip and glute. And inhale, exhale. Reach. 8. Feel the 2 hip points coming straight across together. 7. And 6. 5, squeeze side of hip and glute. 4, stabilize hips. 3, 2 more. And last one. Awesome. All right, so now you're going to take your foot to the mat. You're going to extend top leg to mat, extend the bottom leg out straight. Now what I want you to do, you're going to lift up the bottom leg. Feel that inner thigh right at the top, engage lower. Lift and down. You're going to lift and down and 8. Feel Actually, no, hold on. We didn't do that exercise. We're gonna do this one. Baby circle, tighten your core. I had a client right before this and I did that with my client. So, didn't mean that. I wanna tighten the core to the spine without moving the hips. Little baby circle without moving your hips. 10, 9, 8, tighten the core to your back. 7, and 6, use your core, scoop in tight. 5, 4, stabilize. 3, 2 more. You're gonna feel the top of that thigh working. Last one, reverse. And inhale and exhale, tighten core to spine. Inhale, exhale. 9 and 8 and 7. I hope we didn't do that. I can't even remember now. 7, it's probably 12:30 a.m. So my brain is shutting off. 8 and 7, tighten core to spine. 6, 5, 4, 3, use your core, keep pelvis stabilized. 2 more, and last one. Wonderful. Woo, so we got our inner thigh, we got the outer thigh, because I want to work the muscle, and then I want to stretch it, and that's going to help you. You work the muscle, you activate it, get the blood flowing, get the oxygen in, get the toxins out, and then you stretch. And then it just helps everything. Now we roll to our spine, we roll onto our back, and then I told you I would give you happy baby, Ananda Balasana, because I wanted to work the hips, work the outer thigh, inner thigh, I should say, and that's going to help your hips. All right, we're on our back. Our shoulders, our hips, our knees, our ankles, everything's aligned. Just making sure that the pelvis doesn't go to the side of the shoulders. Make sure you plant yourself down straight on your mat. And then you're either going to take your 2 peace fingers, middle finger, index finger, and then grab your big toes. I chipped both of mine. I just chipped one during class too earlier. I snagged it on something. Ow. Okay, you're either gonna grab your big toes or you're gonna grab your lateral pinky side. So I'm gonna grab my lateral pinky toes, wrap my hands around the side edges of my feet. I'm gonna elevate the legs, making the shin parallel with the knee, the ankle. I'm gonna let the knees fall out to the sides and just kind of stretch the bottom of the spine away from the top of my head. And just stay here and breathe and just relax into it. Feel the crease right in the front of the hip and the thigh. We want that femur bone, that thigh bone, to drop deeper down into the acetabulum, into that hip socket. You're just breathing in and breathing out. Softening into the stretch. Now imagine your 2 hip points in front pulling tight across. That's your transversus abdominis. If you can feel that horizontal belt coming across the front of the hips, that's going to drop the low back down against the mat even more. You'll feel your back contact the mat even more, and the back of the pelvis widen if you keep pulling those 2 hip bones towards each other. Stay here and breathe. Maybe if it's okay on your spine, if it's all right, you can rock side to side. Release the low back. If that's not okay, then avoid it. And then you just come back, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, exhale. This will help your low back release indirectly as well. One more deep inhale. And gently release. Wonderful. From here, just gonna have you stretch the legs. Bring them in. 2 more. Stretch behind those knees. Bring them in. 1 more. Stretch. All right. Now let's go into Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined butterfly. So I want you to bring the soles, the bottoms of your feet together. And then I want you to rotate palms to sky. The bottoms of the feet, the soles of your feet come together. Feel your inner thighs rotate out externally. So you're going to feel gravity gently pressing down on your inner thighs, your hips. And stay here and breathe. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Spine is long, chest is open, relax shoulders out of ears. Maybe do some chin nods while you're here to release at the base of the skull, the occiput. Your chin tilts up a little bit, and then your chin tilts down. Your chin tilts up, your chin tilts down. 4 and 3, small range, and 2, relax the facial muscles, the mouth, your jaw, and one more time. Return head neutral, tip of nose to sky. Now make a little circle, little nose circle. When I get you into that second vertebra in the neck, the axis, little baby circles one way. You're going to hear little pops and cracks. Hopefully they go away. And you're going to feel length down each side of the neck, under each earlobe. Go the opposite direction, little baby circles. Lots of pops and cracks. Let them go, let them release. Little baby circles. There, now they're going. Come back center. Feel how the tailbone, the sacrum are heavy on the mat. I have 2 more stretches and we're going to complete this hip help session. Just doing everything that naturally unfolds from the neck so it'll feel good in my body, and chances are, if it feels good in my body, it's going to feel good in yours too. And if anything ever does not feel good, you back out and you stop and you don't continue. You just listen to your body. From here, slowly, you're going to bring your knees together, pull them in, and then just do this little windshield wiper, side to side, a couple times, release your back. Good, let those hips release. Okay, next, what I want you to do is turn onto your side. Take a second before you just jump up so you don't feel like you see stars or anything. And then you just press, elongate head away from tailbone. You're coming up. I want you to do straddle pose. That'll feel good. You're going to take one leg to the side. The other leg goes to the other side. If for some reason you feel super tight and it hurts to sit like this, if you have a block or a bolster, you can sit horizontal, bring it right under your pelvis, sit straight on it, and it raises you up to create some space in the front of your hips here and also across the low back area. It'll give you a little bit more space in there so it's not as uncomfortable. And then just kind of shake out your knees. I can feel this pulling, chances are so can you. Inhale, exhale, and then it's like you're elevating up. Just sit tall for a second so that the back of the thigh bones fall into the mat. And something else you could do, activate the front of your thigh, your quad, squeeze the front of your quads, lift them up away from the knees, engage these muscles so the other side just falls into the mat even more. Now bring the energy from your center, reach it down through the legs, through the balls of your feet. Try flexing your feet. Notice if you have equal weight across each half of your pelvis right now. We're rising up. And then see if you can come forward on your mat. Ooh, whoa. I have sound effects tonight, sorry. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, exhale. Just soften into it. Very important, keep your knees facing up and your toes facing up. I don't want you to rotate the leg in because it could affect the hip up in here where the bone goes into the socket. We all have a different degree of flexibility in there, the angle of which that ball and socket joint where the bone goes in there. So let's just be protective by keeping knees to sky. When you feel a give, go a little further forward. Inhale, exhale. Just breathe into the stretch. Well, the pain's out of my hip and now it's in my inner thighs. What do you know? That's good, I moved it out. So now it's stretching the inner thighs. Think of your sits bones reaching straight back behind you into the mat. So it kind of pulls those sits bones backwards into the mat in case you're hiking one side or anything. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Softening into it. Careful not to round your middle back. Just keep the back lengthening, hip hinge from that crease right in the front of your hip. Inhale, exhale. If you want to come deeper, you can use your block. Here it is. You can put your forehead, you can make it higher. You can make it higher even, like up here. Or you can go lower. See what works. Knees to sky. Just chill out here for a moment. Spine is long. Pull my heart through so I don't round and round my middle back. Keep the length. Inhale, exhale. It's better to have a lengthened spine than it is to have straight legs because you're aligning up your spine. You could have your knees softly bent if necessary. Eventually, you want to have them straight, but it's okay if they're softly bent. Keep lengthening your spine. Really get those thighs, inner thighs to release. Part of those hamstrings are really stretching too. Inhale, exhale. Two more deep inhales here. Exhale. One more time. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Rising up, head away from tailbone. Slowly make your way in. Bring those legs together. Shake out those knees. All right, I'm going to give you a little counter now by just doing a little reverse table. So I'm going to have you just press your palms down, lift your heart. Feel like you could just squeeze your inner thighs together. Your feet are together, and then you're just going to lift up. I want you to feel like you're squeezing your thighs together. Press hips to sky, and then just kind of just open your chest and your shoulders for a sec. Good. Just stay here and breathe. Inhale, exhale, those glutes are engaged. Open chest, shoulders, glutes are engaged. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Breathing in, breathing out. And release. You might even feel those hamstrings. Whew. Shake out your knees. And then let's just do our caterpillar. We're going to fold from our hip crease. not from the back. You're just gonna lift up. Think of front ribs meet back ribs. Elevate, elongate. And then we're gonna hinge from the hip crease. And maybe you'll take hands under the knees if you need some support back there. Maybe you'll hinge over the front of the shins. Maybe you'll reach for the ankles, lift your heart, or maybe you'll reach for the lateral pinky toe sides of your feet. And you could do this in little increments. You could start here, lift your heart, breathe in, breathe out. Then you can kind of feel it give and then come a little deeper. You don't have to do it all at once. And again, you could sit on a yoga block to help the low back and the hips not feel so constricted. Inhale, exhale, maybe reach for the ankles. Feel how the sits bones pull back into the mat behind you. Your heart pulls forward, oppositional lengthening energy. Breathe. Just let go. Stretching the backs of your thighs, the hamstrings, in case they're tugging and pulling on your low back. Our hip flexors can tug and pull our pelvis into anterior tilt when tight. All sorts of things can happen, but I'm just thinking of different little things. Hamstrings, I think, will feel good to stretch. Inhale, exhale, just for the sake of your low back. If you feel a give, you can go a little deeper. Keep pulling heart forward through. Inhale, exhale, hip hinge. Soften into it. Spine reaches long. Hinge from the crease of the hip. Lengthen. Inhale, exhale. And inhale, exhale. Wonderful. And inhale, exhale. If you want to go deeper, and your shoulders, your rotator cuff is okay with your hands reaching behind your back. You could go a little deeper by interlacing your fingers together, chest opens, and then hinge deeper over those thighs. For a second, really get into those hamstrings. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more time, inhale, exhale. And then in Pilates, we do something called rowing. Our arms are behind our back. We open them. We circle all the way around to the feet. And there you are. Now lengthen your breastbone, heart through the arms, elevate up. Lengthen, lengthen, come all the way back in. Sit back for a sec. Stretch up, extend again. Now bring hands to heart. 2 more. Inhale, elevate up. Exhale, bring hands to heart. And one more time, just get a little extension into your spine. Exhale. All right. Next, just crisscross your ankles. And sit easy pose, Sukhasana. And maybe just do a couple little shoulder rolls in each direction. Up, down, back. Release any tension out of the shoulders. Release through the hands. One more. Reverse it. Inhale, exhale. Chances are your hips feel better than when you started. 3 more. That's the goal, at least. 2 more. Last one. Excellent. And now we're just gonna tilt the chin up, stretch this arm away. Feel the stretch side and neck. Tilt the chin slightly down. Just varying the stretch a little. Tilt the chin slightly up. Move in small increments so you don't overstretch your neck. Tilt the chin slightly down. One more. Tilt the chin slightly up. Go easy. And tilt the chin slightly down. Come back center. Stretch this arm away. tilt, chin up slightly. It's like you're tilting chin up, and then you tilt the chin down. You might feel different areas here, stretching, tilt the chin up, this arm's reaching long, and tilt the chin down. Good, 2 more. Easy does it. Getting into the side, that rear part of the neck, it can just feel like little strings there just pulling apart. Inhale, exhale, 1 more time, move in a small increment so you don't overdo, and return back center. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I hope this helped. So this helped the hips release, and then also helped the low back release indirectly. I appreciate you for joining me, for watching. If you like my channel, help me grow by hitting subscribe or like or that notification bell so that you always hear when I do a new video and you can join me again. Appreciate you. Thank you. Peace, everyone. Take care. Hope this helped stretch out your hips. See you soon. Bye. Take care. Peace. See you soon.